have an underlying sense that things aren't going to be okay no matter how much you try? You give, you care, you try so hard to do everything perfect, and yet inside you're still feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, and like things are about to unravel. You're not alone. This feeling of being stressed out is coming from common patterns that sabotage your emotional stability and will lead to emotional dysregulation. Hi, I'm Dr. Julie, a psychologist and relationship coach. And today I want to unpack the 7 patterns common to people pleasers that are going to contribute to emotional dysregulation and talk a little bit about what you can do about it. As people pleasers, we're the fixers, the helpers. We're the shoulder people come to cry on. But this constant focus on others will leave us disconnected from our emotions, leading to emotion dysregulation simply because we're out of touch with how we feel. Emotion regulation isn't always about overreacting. Sometimes it's just feeling overwhelmed or even shutting down. It's a genuine challenge that many people face, often due to factors beyond their control. There are 7 patterns that people pleasers fall into that erode their emotional resilience and make emotion regulation especially hard. To escape from this trap, start with one of the patterns I'm about to talk about and work on changing it before moving to others. The first pattern is the emotional tug of war. If you've ever felt stressed but have a hard time knowing why, you're dealing with the emotional tug of war. This happens when you grow up in environments where your emotions are overlooked or dismissed. Maybe you had a parent dealing with their own struggles, or perhaps you were the responsible child who cared for others. This early experience causes us to be hyper attuned to other people's emotions, but because we're so focused on them, we can't identify our own feelings. You're going to notice that you might feel off or upset, but struggle to pinpoint exactly what emotion you're experiencing. Sometimes we don't even really know what we're feeling unless we take the time to think about it. If you always know when your friend is upset and can offer the perfect words of comfort, but struggle to talk about how you feel, often drawing a blank or defaulting to "I'm fine," this is the emotional tug of war. When you begin tuning into your emotions through something as simple as checking in with yourself periodically and noticing how you feel, you'll start to get more balanced. Reconnecting with yourself is the first step in breaking this tug of war. The second pattern is the approval addiction. Our brains have literally been wired to seek approval from others. So this isn't a character flaw, it's a survival mechanism. But for some people, it's gone into overdrive. This makes it incredibly difficult for people pleasers to say no or express disagreement, even when it's causing emotional distress. The fear of disappointing others can feel almost physically painful. This problem is that constantly seeking approval leaves us emotionally exhausted and disconnected from our true selves. We can't tell if we're okay unless someone else says we are or approves of us. You'll know you have an approval addiction if you take on extra projects at work, work late even if you aren't required to, pick up the slack for anyone else who's falling behind, and so on. This is especially true if you take on extra work even though you're feeling overwhelmed because you can't bear the thought of letting your boss or teammates down. To kick this addiction, start by saying no to something small. It's really scary at first. I know, I've done it. But every time you do, you're rewiring your brain to respect your limits. And over time, you'll find that people's approval doesn't define your worth. You do. The third pattern is the perfectionism trap. Do you feel like you have to be perfect, but you almost always fall short, leaving yourself feeling anxious, guilty, or alone? Many people pleasers are perfectionists, setting impossibly high standards for themselves. We believe that if we can just be perfect, we'll finally be worthy of love and acceptance. This constant striving for perfection can lead to chronic stress and emotional burnout. We're always on edge, waiting for someone to find out we aren't perfect and aren't acceptable or lovable. Perfectionism also makes it hard to regulate emotions because we see any negative emotion as a failure. We should always be happy, calm, and in control. But here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. Giving yourself permission to be perfect, even messy, creates space to find self-acceptance, self-compassion, and more balanced emotional expressions. The fourth pattern is the boundary blur. Do you ever feel like your emotional state is dictated by other people? If your partner comes home in a bad mood and suddenly you're in a bad mood too, this is a problem with having difficulty setting healthy boundaries. We're so used to focusing on others and putting them first that we don't know where we end and others begin. And honestly, that often makes us feel really connected with others, which is why we're doing it in the first place. But without clear boundaries, we can become emotional sponges, absorbing others' feelings and losing touch with our own, which is going to leave us feeling out of control and sometimes emotionally volatile. Learning to set boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential for your emotional well-being and the health of your relationships. If you struggle to express yourself or ask for what you want, get my free guide, Saying It Right, Your Guide to Confident Communication. The guide will give you principles for communicating so others can hear and understand you. I put the link in the description. The fifth pattern is the conflict avoidant dance, which I think most people are familiar with. If you're the peacemaker in every situation, even when it means silencing your own needs, this is what you're struggling with. Many people pleasers learned early on that keeping the peace was safer than expressing our own true feelings. You'll definitely know if this is one of your patterns if family and friends come to you to complain about others and then ask or imply that you should intervene. It's a sure sign you're an expert at conflict avoidance because you're doing it for everyone else too. But avoiding conflict doesn't mean it goes away. It just builds up inside us. And eventually, all that bottled up frustration explodes in ways we don't intend. Unfortunately, disagreements always arise, and sometimes they can't be smoothed over or avoided. In this case, you're ill equipped to handle the issue simply because you haven't learned the necessary skills for navigating an unavoidable conflict. Facing conflict with honesty and kindness might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's a skill that gets easier with practice, and it's definitely worth it. Start with small conflicts so you're prepared for the bigger ones when they come along. Keep in mind, healthy conflict is how we build stronger, more authentic relationships. The sixth pattern is empathy overload. Do you ever get so caught up in other people's emotions that you get overwhelmed by their emotions? People pleasers are often highly empathetic, which is a wonderful thing. We have an innate ability to understand and share the feelings of others. However, excessive empathy without proper emotional boundaries can lead to compassion fatigue and burnout. We become so attuned to others' emotions that we lose sight of ours. This overload can leave us feeling emotionally drained and unable to manage our own emotional state effectively. Learning to balance empathy with self-care protects both your energy and your ability to support others. You can care deeply and take care of yourself. The seventh and final pattern is the self-worth seesaw. Do you ever feel like your worth goes up and down depending on how helpful or likable you are? Many people pleasers tie their self-worth to how helpful or likable they are to others. Our sense of value becomes entirely dependent on external validation. When our self-worth fluctuates based on others' approval, it becomes difficult to maintain our emotional stability because we're on a constant emotional roller coaster. This external focus makes it hard to develop a stable sense of self, which is crucial for healthy emotion regulation. When you shift your focus inward, aligning your actions with your values and not other people's expectations, you'll find a steadiness that no one can shake. Understanding these patterns is the first step towards breaking free from the people-pleasing cycle and developing healthier emotion regulation. And I've got some strategies that can help. But remember, don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Start with one of these patterns and pick one of these strategies to see how it helps you. The first strategy is to practice self-awareness. Start paying attention to your own emotions and needs. Try keeping an emotional journal to track your feelings throughout the day. Set aside time each day to check in with yourself. Ask, how am I feeling right now? Notice your physical sensations because those might indicate emotional states. Sensations like tension in your shoulders or feeling stressed in your belly area. The next one is to set healthy boundaries. The goal here is to learn to say no with minimal guilt. Remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. Start small. Maybe decline a minor request that you would usually agree to automatically. Use I statements to express your needs, like, I need some alone time to recharge. The next suggestion is to develop your own level of self-compassion. You want to treat yourself with the same kindness you show others. Self-compassion is crucial for emotional well-being, because if you can't be compassionate towards yourself when you make a mistake or you're not perfect, you can't really expect others to be compassionate towards you and understanding. Next, practice positive self-talk. Instead of criticizing yourself for a mistake, ask, how would I comfort a friend in this situation? Recognize that imperfection and struggle are part of the shared human experience. We appreciate seeing when other people screw up. It makes us feel like they're more relatable, and that because they're not perfect and we know we're not perfect, we can understand them better. Next, it's really important to get some support. You want to consider maybe therapy or support groups specifically for people pleasers. Sometimes we turn to our friends and they can be helpful to a point, especially when we need to regulate our emotions in the moment. But connecting with others who understand our struggles specifically can really improve the healing process. So open up to your friends or family members about your tendencies. Remember to ask for help if you need it, and keep in mind that asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. And finally, I really suggest people reconnect with their values. Identify what truly matters to you, not just what you think should matter. Make decisions based on your values, not on what will please others. Regularly engage in activities that align with your values and bring you joy. Remember, learning to regulate your emotions isn't about becoming less caring or empathetic. It's about finding a balance where you can care for others without losing yourself. It's a journey, and it takes time. Be patient with yourself as you learn and grow. Did you recognize one of these people-pleasing patterns in yourself? Do you know how it's affecting your ability to manage your emotions? Well, share your experiences in the comments below, because your insights might help others on the same journey. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and share it with someone who might benefit from it. And subscribe to this channel. It really helps me grow the channel and get it out to other people who could use it. Remember, taking care of your emotional needs isn't selfish. It's necessary for your well-being and maintaining healthy relationships with others. You deserve to prioritize yourself. Take care and have an amazing week.